Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Holi. Wishing you all a very happy Holi to you, to your beautiful, sweet families. I hope you all have colorful and peaceful and a very happy festival of Holi. I think it's one of the second most celebrated festival in India after Diwali, and it's such joy and happiness all around. Okay, moving in our episode today, I think it's episode 28. So I, Danya, welcome you all from my kitchen today to our episode 28, where we are discussing, as the title suggests, defeating temptation. Now, I think in last to last episode, we talked about temptation, how it works, what is its cycle, how it affects us in our spiritual journey, and everything about it. And in a very brief, that time I remember mentioned about how we can overcome it. But today's episode is completely about defeating, and side by side I think I should start something, otherwise I'll get late. That is, there is always a way out. God only gives us the trouble to the extent we can bear it and come out of it. There will never be a circumstance or situation in our life where we'll feel stuck, or we'll feel that it's too unbearable, I cannot just come out of it, I'm feeling so stuck, so depressed, how will ever I'll be able to get out of this situation? No, he gives you the problems according to your capacity, according to the kind of the strength, the power we have within us to deal with it. Okay, so having said that, there are 4 key areas in our today's episode where this book helps us, the Bible actually, the book which I'm referring to create all these episodes of 40 Days of Relationship with God, that following these 4 keys, how we can come out of the temptation or defeat our temptation. The first one is refocus, don't resist. Now, resisting is something which is the first idea that comes to our mind. We first think that resisting is something which is easy to do, but believe me, more you fight a feeling, more you think in your mind that I'm going to resist this, I'm going to fight it out, the more it is going to make it ground stronger in our mind and heart. The best is to change the channel of your mind. That's what the book says. Just refocus, just replace your thought from the one which you are into right now. If suppose some particular thought is tempting you, okay, the best what you can do is you can refocus your mind to something entirely different, to something which is more constructive, to something which is more God-centric. That is, you can start chanting the holy names of God, you can watch something related to spirituality, you can read something, a spiritual book, or you can go to a nearby organization or place where chanting or reading takes place, or you can join a group like that. So that is what or where the help comes. That is, replace your sinful, tempting thoughts with the God-centric thoughts. That is, don't resist, refocus. Okay, moving to the next one. That is, reveal your problem and struggle to a family member or to a support group. Now, see, the concept of support group is quite I would say new in India, or it's not even there in India, but in Western societies, in Western world, it's very common. In many movies, or the people who have been to West, who stayed there for a couple of years, they may tell you that the spiritual organizations, mostly churches, they organize the support groups of various kind of addictions, where people can come, they confide in with the positively charged people, they can share their struggle, their journey of various sorts of addiction, be it drug addiction, alcohol, because of excessive shopping, because of excessive physical indulgence, or it could be any, and these support group, they don't judge you, you can completely trust them. So this is like a small community inside a community where you can open yourself, you can share your ideas, you can share what struggle you are undergoing, because sometimes what happens, temptation is so persistent that you cannot deal it all alone. It comes back every time you try to resist it. Like what I said, we try to fight it, it comes back, and again the same cycle keeps on going. So the best is to reveal it to someone, and rightly said by God in Bible, it is better to reveal than to conceal. So find a support group, find one of the family member or your friend or anybody whom you can reveal what is going in your mind, what's going in your heart about a particular struggle or temptation, which is you think in your mind is not the right thought to process on, or is sinful by nature itself. Okay. The third one was, I think I have little less memory to remember everything at this age, so let's take help. Realize your vulnerability. Now vulnerability is nothing but when we are most weak, most depressed, most I think the state or the mindset is like we can crush or we can get depressed at any moment. Any a small trigger, a small blow will break us. That is the point of vulnerability. So realizing our vulnerability in the sense that when I understand that right now I am not in best of my spirit, then I should hold on that thought, I should accept it, then to fight the opposite, that no, I can deal with it. There is a beautiful line in this book which says, I would like to share as it is: remember that it's easier to stay out of temptation than to get out of it. So it is always easier that you remain out of the particular problem than first getting into it and then coming out of it. So coming out of it always requires a lot of effort, a lot of help. Like you have to go to talk to people, you have to attend some counseling sessions, you have to read books, you have to again rebuild yourself to come out of it. So it's better to stay out of it than to get into it and then try to come out of it. So realize that I am right now in a vulnerable position where if I indulge or if I'm getting these tempting thoughts of sinful activities, I better stay out of it. Like I mentioned in last episode, avoid going to such places, ignore going to such meetings, or ignore meeting such people, or avoid being in contact with such people who you think that they are toxic or they are not good for your mental health, they are not contributing in your peace of mind. So just ignore, just stay out of these kind of circumstances, situation, company. Realize your vulnerability and then stay out of it, then to get into it and coming out of it. And the last point is chanting the holy names of God. That's the most, I think, the one which is very close to my heart, because God says over here, if you chant the holy names of God, or if you remain close to me, like if you are already in a relationship with me, which is what we are trying in these 40 days of relationship series, that then automatically my kindness, my mercy, my blessing is on you, and you don't indulge, you don't get such tempting thoughts in your mind. If I am closer to God, if I already am in a relationship with God, then my mind would be much more pure, much more pious, much more God-centric. Holy thoughts, noble, humble thoughts will come to my mind instead of sinful ideas, sinful thoughts, or the thoughts which should be ignored or should not be indulged in. Here I would say there are many examples, in our shastras or in our spiritual scriptures, where there are people who have been in contact or in persistent contact with God, and because of that they had always been devoid of such ideas. Like for example, Draupadi, she was always close to God. Pandavas, they were always close to God. Then there was this Gajendra, the elephant. He was always chanting the holy names of God. Even when he was in distress, the one thing which he did, he made this humble cry. And from that, I remember the thought of the day is that God is merciful to all of us. He never ever differentiates. He never discriminates. But He comes to help those first who cry humbly for his help, or who make a humble cry. For example, Draupadi, she made a humble cry when the Sari crisis was there. Prahlad, the story of Holika, the episode itself, the holy episode, I should mention Prahlad. So Bhakt Prahlad, he also made a humble cry that, Lord Krishna, save me out of this. Gajendra, the elephant, he made the humble cry. So God, he's just waiting for that one call of yours. He's just waiting for you to make that humble cry. And for his bhakts, for his devotees, he's always there to just, come at the first help, at the first call. So he never differentiates, but he always helps those first who make the humble cry. Try to remember that in your mind, and be safe this Holi. Don't put colors on stray animals or on people on street unnecessarily. I always, try to remind this to everyone. It's very difficult, the Diwali and Holi, especially for animals on street, because they're the intensity which they hear the sound in Diwali of the crackers is like 100 times more to the frequency which we operate. So it's very difficult for them, especially dogs and all. And similarly, during Holi, if you put color on them, therefore their entire body is too sensitive with the chemicals and everything which is there in color. So just for your enjoyment, don't spoil the environment, don't spoil the or don't harm the animals and people on street. Okay, so keep believing, keep having faith, and always try to be happy in life.